Using a VPN is supposed to make you invisible, but what happens if your provider is legally required to cooperate with the government? IPVanish is based in the United States, right at the center of the Five Eyes Surveillance Alliance. So the real question is simple. Does its no logs policy actually protect you, or is it just marketing? Let's find out. Just a warning to you, we're about to talk about server infrastructure, which might sound dry, but it's one of the biggest factors behind how a VPN handles your data. Most VPNs don't own their own servers, they rent space in third-party data centers. Think of it like renting an apartment. You have your own lock, but the building manager still holds the master key. But IPVanish claims they do the opposite. They say they own and operate their hardware, which means they control the locks, the cameras, the doors themselves. And that level of control can be a real advantage for privacy. But there's an important detail. That infrastructure still sits on US soil. Hey everybody, and welcome back to vpnMentor, where we test VPNs properly, explain what actually matters, and call out the red flags when they exist. If that sounds useful to you, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned to find out what our test revealed about IPVanish specifically. Okay, let's start with speed, because performance is where many VPNs fall short. IPVanish has historically been known for fast connections, especially for gaming and everyday browsing, and that reputation still mostly holds up. The big reason is WireGuard. That's the connection method their VPN uses to move your traffic through the tunnel. And compared to older options like OpenVPN, WireGuard uses less code and fewer options to connect, which usually means faster speeds and lower lag. On nearby servers, performance stayed pretty close to regular connections. Pages load quickly, streaming remained stable, and downloads stayed consistent. Long-distance servers definitely slow down a bit, which is totally normal, but nothing unusual compared to other top VPNs. For gaming specifically, ping stays low on regional servers, making it a practical option unless you're playing at a highly competitive level. IPVanish runs over 3,000 servers worldwide, and the service has started moving parts of its network to RAM-only servers. And that means that these servers don't keep your data stored long-term on physical devices, which reduces what could be recovered if hardware is seized. It's not across the entire network yet, but it's a notable privacy improvement. So in short, IPVanish remains fast where it matters, with WireGuard doing most of the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Now, most VPNs limit how many devices you can connect at once. ExpressVPN allows 8, NordVPN allows 10, but IPVanish takes a very different approach. And that's because you can connect as many devices as you want under one account. And that makes it especially practical for larger households, families, or anyone running a VPN across multiple devices. Everything can stay connected at once, and in our testing, performance stayed stable even with several devices active simultaneously. It's a simple feature, but a genuinely useful one, and still relatively rare among major VPN providers. Streaming is where things get a little more mixed. In our testing, IPVanish worked well with Netflix US and UK, Disney Plus, and BBC iPlayer, meaning we were able to access region-locked libraries without any issues on most servers. When it connects, streams load quickly and stay in HD without any buffering. That being said, it is not as consistent as some streaming-focused VPNs. Prime Video is the biggest question mark here for sure. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and results can change depending on the server that you choose. Compared to something like CyberGhost, which is more of a plug-and-play for streaming specifically, IPVanish can feel a bit hit or miss. But we've actually covered that exact comparison in another video that I'll link to down below if you want to learn more. IPVanish also allows P2P traffic across its network, which means you can use it for torrent downloads without switching to special servers. It includes a SOCKS 5 proxy, a lighter connection option that can help improve download speeds. One limitation though is that it does lack port forwarding, and that's a feature that some advanced torrent users rely on to improve peer connections and upload speeds, so its absence may matter if you're heavily into file sharing. So yes, it works, just don't expect every platform to unlock perfectly every single time. If streaming is your main priority, there are more consistent options out there. Now again, IPVanish claims a strict no logs policy, meaning it says it doesn't track your browsing activity, traffic, IP addresses, or connection timestamps. And unlike many VPNs that rely only on marketing claims, IPVanish has undergone independent audits, most recently in 2022 and 2025, where outside security firms verified that the service wasn't storing user activity logs. And that kind of third-party validation carries carries real weight in the industry. On the security side, the core features are all here. AES 256-bit encryption, which is the industry standard for keeping your traffic unreadable, modern protocols like WireGuard for faster, more efficient connections, a kill switch that cuts your internet if the VPN drops, and leak protection to stop your real IP address from slipping through. So from a technical standpoint, IPVanish does the job really well, but jurisdiction still matters a lot here. Again, IPVanish operates from inside the United States, which is part of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, a group of countries that share surveillance data with each other. Even with a verified no logs policy, users who need maximum anonymity from government scrutiny, like journalists, activists, and whistleblowers, may prefer a provider based outside that legal environment. Also, if you're traveling somewhere that actively blocks VPN traffic, IPVanish isn't the strongest option. We've covered the best alternatives in those situations in a separate guide that I'll link to down below. Now, IPVanish's app has a very distinctive design. The first thing you notice is the map interface, which shows server locations visually. Some users love it because it looks technical and gives you a clear sense of where you're connecting. Others find it to be a bit cluttered, especially if they just want to pick a country and connect quickly. The good news is you're not forced into using the map. You can switch to a simple list, sort by country or city, and connect in a matter of seconds. Once connected, the interface stays responsive, and the settings are straightforward, even the more advanced options. So rest assured that you don't need a deep networking knowledge to use it effectively. It's definitely not the most minimal looking VPN app out there, but it's functional, fast, and easier to navigate once you understand the basic layout. Now, we of course can't talk about IPVanish without mentioning its past. Back in 2016, under previous ownership, IPVanish handed over user data during a criminal investigation, despite marketing itself as a no-log service at the time, and that remains a serious mark on its history. Now, since then, IPVanish has changed hands. It's now owned by Ziff Davis, a large publicly traded tech media company. The service has updated its infrastructure, rewritten its privacy policies, and undergone multiple independent no-logs audits since that incident in 2016. So the question is whether you believe that they've changed. And honestly, despite everything we've covered today, that's something that each individual user needs to decide for themselves. So here's the bottom line. IPVanish fits best as a power user's US-based VPN. It's fast, runs much of its own hardware, and allows unlimited device connections under one account. For everyday privacy, streaming, gaming, and home use, it does all of that really well. But it does remain a US jurisdiction provider, and that doesn't automatically make it insecure, but users who need maximum anonymity from US authorities may prefer alternatives like ExpressVPN or Proton VPN. If you want to check out the latest IPVanish deal or compare it against our top-ranked VPN, then links for all of that will be down in the description as well. But that's all for this VPN Mentor video. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.